Welcome everyone to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where Richard and I talk about the top 15 tight ends for week 1. Richard, you ready?
Week 1's here.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom.
Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Before we get started, I just want to explain what you should expect in this video. Richard's going to give the rankings, and I'm going to use our stat machine to either support or contradict his rankings, and hopefully it gets heated. All right, Richard, line them up.
Okay, at number 1, we have Travis Kelce, who will be at Arizona in what should be a shootout.
This week's shootout.
Who I think is the best tight end in football, has a great matchup week 1. Have to put him at the top. And number 2, Mark Andrews at the New York Jets. Great defensive matchup, but you know what Baltimore's going to do. They're going to run. Mark Andrews can have a decent game, but I don't think he's going to top Travis Kelce.
He had a good season last year. I don't think he can continue it. I guess you do?
I don't. No. I'm with you. I don't think Mark Andrews will repeat as the number 1 tight end in fantasy. I think his numbers will take a little bit of a drop, but he's still very good. And number 3, Kyle Pitts, home against New Orleans. Kyle Pitts had a decent season as a rookie, but he didn't reach the heights everybody thought he was going to reach. So I think Kyle Pitts is a little overrated at this point.
Well, hold on. He had 1,000 receiving yards. I guess his problem was he didn't score touchdowns, but 1,000 receiving yards for a tight end is terrific.
Yes, it is. People just expected a lot from Kyle Pitts. His expectations were sky high. But you're right. Maybe I'm being a little rough on him. He did have an excellent season. And number 4, Darren Waller at the LA Chargers in what will be a shootout. But Darren Waller now has to contend with Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow. I'm not going to say it.
We will see. I'll say it. We will see.
And number 5, we have Dalton Schultz, who will be home against Tampa Bay. We know Dak loves to throw it. Schultz had a good season last year. I think the trend will continue.
Well, I guess we're expecting him to get at least 8 touchdowns. Seems kind of high in my mind.
That might be a high number, but Dalton Schultz, again, it's relative to tight ends. And in the tight end world, he's very good. And number 6, George Kittle at Chicago. Decent matchup. The question is Trey Lance. It's the big question with San Francisco right now and how that offense is going to fit together. And number 7 is Zach Ertz, who will be home against Kansas City. Again, I think this game is going to be a shootout, and that's why I have Ertz at 7. Ertz isn't as explosive as he once was, but he'll make a play or two here for Kyler Murray. At number 8, TJ Hawkinson, who will be home against Philadelphia. Here's the thing with TJ Hawkinson. He's a stud. He's an athlete. It's Jared Goff, though, is his quarterback. I think that Detroit offense as a whole, the team as a whole, will be improved. I think TJ Hawkinson's trending up.
Last year, in some rankings, he finished 16. You got him ranked 8th this week. I think you're high on this guy.
Yeah, maybe higher again, because I know what TJ Hawkinson can do. The reason probably for his low ranking, how many touchdowns did he score?
He scored 4 touchdowns last year.
4?
Yes.
That's a low number. I think that number is going to be higher, and I think Hawkinson's going to do better than he did last year. And number 9, we have Dallas Goedert at Detroit. I'm not high on Jalen Hurts as a passer, and he doesn't even like to pass to the middle of the field. But Goedert will get his touches, because what happens to quarterbacks that don't pass well, they lean on their tight end. You either lean by choice, like Patrick Mahomes, or you lean because it's your safety blanket, like Lamar Jackson. And number 10, we have Dawson Knox, who will be at the LA Rams. He's got Josh Allen as a quarterback, but the problem is Josh Allen has other weapons, but there will also be plenty of opportunities. And number 11, we have Mike Gesicki, who will be home against New England. Now, there's the questions about Mike McDaniel and how he wants to use Gesicki more as a blocker. And Gesicki's value has taken a little bit of a dump. I think he's going to find his way, or find his role here with the Miami Dolphin offense and succeed.
So I guess you're expecting him to have less targets this year, because last year, 112 targets his way is a lot.
Yeah. He'll probably, including the addition of Tyreek Hill, he'll probably get less targets. but I don't think he's going to be used primarily as a blocker. And number 12, we have Pat Freiermuth, who will be at Cincinnati. A lot of people are high on this guy. He showed some signs of life last year. The question is, will Trubisky, Pickett, whoever the new quarterback is, will they trust him as well? Will they look for him?
To me, it seems like he's a touchdown dependent tight end. He's not getting the yards. He gets the touchdowns. He's going to need a score.
Yeah, it's you never, you trust yardage more than touchdowns. Touchdowns are sporadic. Don't chase the touchdowns. Based on what he did last year, we got to keep him here for now. Number 13, we have Albert Awogbenam at Seattle. He's going to be Russell Wilson's number 1 tight end. They have a great matchup week 1. I think he makes it into the top 15.
I have to ask, some people might be like me and say, who is this guy and why is he ranked so high?
He was the number 2 tight end last year, right? They still had Noah Fant. And now this year they have Russell Wilson. And now he's the number 1 tight end. He's got a low floor, right? He could provide nothing this year. But there is the potential for him to be a top 15 tight end, at least in week 1. And number 14, Cole Kmet, who will be home against San Francisco. Kmet last year had a lot of usage. His issue was he didn't score touchdowns, but that whole offense couldn't score. This year, we'll see if Justin Fields takes that step up, but I will bet you Cole Kmet will score more touchdowns than he did last year.
Well, he scored 0, so 1 touchdown is more.
Boom. Genius statement. And number 15, Gerald Everett, who will be home against Las Vegas. And again, like I mentioned in shootout. Now, Gerald Everett, I snuck into the top 15. Why? Because he's Justin Herbert's number 1 tight end. Now, is he even going to get a target? We don't know. But Justin Herbert is a stud. This is going to be a shootout. There will be touchdowns aplenty.
Well, thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 15 tight ends for week 1.
All right, we'll see you soon. Let's see how well we do in week 1.
As a reminder, if you have any questions on tight ends or comparisons, put it in the comments, and I'm sure Richard would be happy to answer it for you.
Those fantasy good fellas.
Rolling on the field.
Those fantasy good fellas.